Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy, Random TUNEZKII. So today I got another vape trick for you guys, and this is probably going to be the most useful. So the whole point of vaping is obviously quitting cigarettes, and obviously the main chemical in cigarettes is nicotine. So I have a really good tip here. So usually people will run their coils or run their units at, like, let's say mine is, let's see, best 55 to 65. Now, what you want to do is go exactly in between that number. You want to go, so if mine is best in between 55 and 65, you want to, wait, sorry. Yeah, 55 to 65, you want to go at 60. And what that will do, and I know, yeah, it's going to, drain your battery faster. Yeah, it's going to drain juice faster, but that's just a habit of, smoking, so. Or vaping, whatever, Anyway, so with that is, if you are actually running your coils what they're meant to be at, and also probably I would suggest, a lot of people use 0.6 nic. For me, I go anything that's in between 1.0 to 2.4. Now, along with juices, a lot of people probably know this, a lot of people probably don't, is the higher nicotine level you go, the more the throat hit and the less the flavor. Now, the highest that I've ever had was 5.0 juice, and that stuff fucking knocked me out my ass, but I kind of actually liked it anyway. You want to be careful though if you are making your own juice or any of those different things. Do your measurements. I've been doing it for about 2 years, so I'm pretty experienced. I know how to make juice. And as far as that goes, run your coils what you need to be, and do a little bit higher nic. I would even recommend salt nic, but salt nic is very expensive. And to be honest, I think that salt nic is actually very overpriced. Because most commonly you can get a salt nic 15 ml for around $16.99 plus tax. Now, that's 15 ml. That's like, to me, 4 days worth. And so to be spending, I'm a pretty heavy fucking vapor, to be honest. Like, if I'm actually going at the wattage like I am right now, 60 watts on this coil and this tank and this whole setup, this won't even last me half a day, to be honest. But I don't know. But I got a lot of free time on my hands, so. And I fucking love nicotine. So. And, yeah. So, also, one thing you want to do, too, is also make sure your coils are running at the correct. Now, with this, the gene chip and a lot of other mods that are coming out, it already detects what your thing is. Now, in some mods, it'll actually read it to be a higher ohm, but you actually want it to run at a lower ohm. So for this, it's just a 0.4. And also, here's a really good tip, is when some people get confused, they're like, oh, it says 0.40, but I need it as 0.4. It's kind of weird how the numbers work when it comes to Ohm's law, but 0.40 is 0.4 ohm. It goes from digits in between hundredths of a thousandths. So I know it doesn't make any sense because there's not a thousandths place, but that's just how it works. That's just how Ohm's law, that's how that within Ohm's law, that's just how it's measured. And especially on a unit, when it's measuring it, that's just how the computer reads it, and that's just how it is. So, but yeah. Also, you guys may notice also too, if you're running the correct wattage, you're not going to get as near of a popping sound. Now, what that popping is air pockets in your juice that it's just heating up, and it's just these little air pockets because it's getting evaporated so fast. You know, and so, and as you can see in mine, one main reason why I don't have any the pops is because I have 0 air bubbles. Look at that right there. So if I mix this up a little bit, and still I'm not going to get any, might get a few. So you see those little tiny air bubbles? Once those actually go, you get, you know, let's say a good 50 to, you know, 100 of them. Once you get a bunch of those, they'll literally pop inside of it, and it's kind of a cool science actually, because you're talking about these little tiny bubbles, and it's being evaporated so fast that multiple of them just go off even when they're like so tiny, and that's where you hear the popping sound. So if you're hearing, and that's not really a bad thing, that doesn't mean anything's wrong with your mod, that's just how it is. But anyway, yeah. And also too, you don't have to take as a big of a drag if you're running, let's say, you know, I'm running at 60 watts. I don't have to take, like, you know, if I was running at like 30 watts, I would have to take a pretty big hit to get a good throat hit or something like that. So also, when you're running higher wattages too, you want to, a lot of people say to suck slowly. Now, that's not really the case when you're running higher wattages. You actually want to suck fast, and so you get a better buzz, better hit, and, you know, so. You don't want to run it for too long either, because holy shit, I'm getting really buzzed right now. You don't want to run it for maybe longer. Let's say 60 watts on this setup. You probably don't want to run it longer than like 3 seconds, because if you run any longer than that, you're just going to sit there and burn your coil. And yes, you're going to go through coils. That's just how it is. That's the point of vaping. It's like spending your money on a pack of smokes, but much cheaper, much safer, much healthier. Anyway, so that's a good Nick Buzz trick for you guys. I know a lot of people actually don't know that, and they're like, man, you know what? It takes me. I've had some friends of mine even come up to me, but like, yo, you know any tips to like get a faster buzz? And I tell them, just run your coil what it needs to run at, and it'll work out fine, and it'll taste better. It'll just be better. Anyway, peace out, guys.